This is Gary with Shockwave Magazine. It's great to talk with you, Myles. Just want to ask you a couple of quick questions. I know you're busy. First thing, I think you have an amazing voice. It really carries very well. I've seen your live stuff. I've seen the stuff on the album. What kind of vocal exercises do you do before you prepare to sing?
I do it's kind of this routine where it involves like scales and arpeggios for about an hour, and then I'll sing. Lately I've been doing that for about an hour, and then I'll start singing Stevie Wonder songs for about another half hour just to kind of get everything to open up. But yeah, it's like a whole routine that I kind of am I think somewhat superstitious if I don't do it. So yeah, it's something I do every night.
And you're one of the rare singers who has a good tone, low, mid, and high. So there's specific things for each that you do.
For me, the trick is to bridge my chest voice and my head voice. So that's really the hardest part, and so that's I do a lot of exercises that weave in and out of that. So it's pretty smooth. Some nights it's better than others. Some nights, if it's dry out or something, or if I had a cold, the gap will be bigger. But I appreciate that. Thank you.
This is something I was reading up as I did my research, that you actually started playing trumpet when you were very young. It kind of sparked an idea, because another great rock singer, Ronnie James Dio, a lot of people ask him how he got his voice and his tone, and he actually attributed it to the breathing lessons he took when he took French horn when he was young. Do you feel any sort of
I think that's probably where it started, like learning to develop the diaphragm a little bit. The kind of breathing that I was taught when I was playing the trumpet is different than the breathing I use as a singer. As a singer, the most important part of the whole process is the breath. It's how you control it and how you basically move it. And so the mechanics of it is a little different from when I did the trumpet, but it still got me to really start focusing on that at a pretty young age.
Okay.
Listening to a lot of your music makes me feel really good about myself and things, and hopeful. I know a lot of the times some of the lyrics may be darker, but you seem to have some kind of hope in the way you deliver it. Are you naturally an optimistic person?
No. No, I'm actually much more pessimistic than I would like to admit. I think part of it is because I learned early on, if you keep your expectations low and you think the worst is going to happen, then you're pleasantly surprised when something good happens. But it's something I'm constantly trying to reprogram, because I don't think it's healthy to be that way. I don't think that being a pessimist is the best way to go through life. So as the years go on, I try to do better to sit somewhere in the middle. Because I think sometimes you can be such an optimist where it's like, it's almost to the point where you're naive and you're kind of like, life can be challenging at times, and so it's good to be ready for it, but at the same time, not Debbie Downer.
What do you like to do in your spare time? I know you got a busy schedule, but when you do find some downtime, like say on the bus or whatever, what do you like to do?
Play guitar. I love to play guitar. I'm really kind of my entire adult life and my teenage years has been so lopsided and so just focused on playing and writing. That's what I enjoy doing more than anything still. I like to play with my dog. It's when I'm home. What else do I like to do? I get antsy though if I sit there and start doing something that requires me to sit down for a long period of time, like just watch a movie or something. I'll sometimes be like itch, like get this like twitch, like where's my guitar?
That's actually great to see someone that's just so passionate about music. It's you're a career musician, but at the same time, even in your downtime, it's sort of like a hobby.
Yeah.
You're still.
Well, I consider myself. Yeah, I consider myself really lucky in that my hobby is my job. It's really,
same here.
Yeah.
I'm actually a web developer. I started when I was 12.
Nice.
I love it. I wake up every day doing it.
Right. There's definitely when you're tapping into anything that's creative, I think that we're very lucky to have that in our lives. Imagine going through life without that. It's terrifying. For me, it's like it really, it's terrifying.
Well, another thing that I found out is a lot of your earlier career, especially with bands like Citizen Swing, you were really into jazz music. And one thing I love about jazz and blues is a lot of the guitar playing has just such amazing tones. There are a lot of really fast guys, but they don't have the same quality of tone. Do you feel that affects the way you play?
Yeah, I think that's definitely how it kind of molded my approach as a guitar player and as a singer in a way. So I like good tone and something that's pleasing to the ear. It's interesting because sometimes as a singer, it's something I'm kind of self-conscious about because I don't feel like tonally every part of my voice is pleasing. So I try to manipulate it, and it's like and it's tricky because when I manipulate it to hear it in my head to where it's not as harsh in certain parts of my range, then it gets tired quicker. So sometimes I'll get like a little more nasal when I'm doing things live, just because I know I've got a lot of shows. Like I'm singing for the next year nonstop pretty much, so I'll do more of that just to kind of skate through and not put as much stress on the vocal cords. But as a guitar player, yeah, most definitely the guys that I loved, or like Larry Carlton, the way his tone was so beautiful and rich. He was known as more of a fusion player, but he also had great jazz chops and whatnot. So.
You've had a lot of success the last 5 years or so, but a lot of people don't ever get that far. You kept going with it. Was there something in particular that kept you driving towards playing and just keep pushing towards breakthrough of success?
I think it's because I can't do anything else. I really can't. I mean, I can remember when there were points in my career. It was weird. I never imagined I'd be doing some of the stuff I've done in the last few years. Never, ever. And it was never my goal. I never necessarily wanted to however you categorize what I do, I feel comfortable putting tags on it. But I remember I would always sit there and just think, well, what am I going to do when I grow up? And I couldn't think of anything. And I remember just kind of being like a little freaked out at the idea that all I could do was music. Like, what am I going to do if I have a family and I have to provide for my family? I'm going to be miserable if I can't do this. So it was always just kind of a matter of music. It's like oxygen for me, So I think the more that I've been very lucky because I've been in the business for so long now, where I've gotten to kind of cultivate what I do. I've been able to fine tune it night after night after night. So it's kind of given me an advantage, in the last few years because I just have toured so much, and it's like anything. It's a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. Right. And I still have lots of work and lots of things I want to get better, but I think that's the key. Is just that repetition over and over and over and over. Mark's the same way. Slash is the same way. He loves to play. It's like that's what it takes. It's just that love and that passion.
Speaking of Slash, you work with a lot of great musicians. Slash comes to mind. The guys in Alter Bridge are all fantastic musicians. You even got to do some session work with the guys in Led Zeppelin. Are there some musicians that you have yet to work with but would really like to?
Sure. Yeah, there's so many great artists out there. I got to do some live things with him. I got to jam with him and the band. Warren Haynes and Government Mule. I think that he's just unbelievably talented. I have so much respect for him. Stevie Wonder would be, I'd be crazy, dream come true. Who else is out there?
It's like a Grammy show kind of thing,
yeah.
Collaboration.
Yeah.
Spread the word.
Well, I would. Yeah, I mean, if something like that happened, it'd be fantastic. But yeah, there's still plenty of people out there I would love to hang out with.
Do you remember the first time you kind of met a musician that you sort of looked up to for a long time, and your jaw just kind of hung open? You were in shock. I mean, I sort of am now, and earlier when I got to meet Dave Mustaine, both are similar. Just whoa. Do you remember the first time that happened?
It kind of happened really early on with a jazz musician or a fusion musician that I was really into growing up. There's a guitar player named Mike Stern, who was a really big influence on my guitar playing. And I got to meet him at a clinic he gave at this school I was going to back in the day. And that was really cool for me because he was so and I'm assuming still is, so down to earth and normal, and that really left a major impression on me, you know. And I'll never forget about 5 years ago when I walked by. I saw Jimmy Page was at a festival over in Holland, and he was backstage, and I remember just walking by him and just being like, I didn't get to officially meet him at that point or anything. That was pretty unbelievable for me.
Got big.
Yeah, that was like, I think I stopped breathing for.
Well, thank you very much.
Oh, you're very
Appreciate
welcome. Right on. Those are great questions. Very cool.